Bob Magnuson for Theo Wanne Mouthpieces, and today I'm answering some more emails, which is my pleasure to do and my New Year commitment in 2022. So I prefer answering direct questions than just putting lots of information out there. I'm not sure who's really listening to it or appreciating it. So this is a good question. Somebody asked me, what do I really mean when I'm adjusting my reeds? What does that really mean? Okay, well, I'm just going to give you my oversight as to what works for me. That's the only thing I can really share is just what works for me. But I want to show you things in the reed and in the Gaia mouthpiece, for example, of Theo's mouthpiece. And I'll go through these very close up. But there's areas in the reed that you need to understand the distance of what they call the variable bundle. Those are the actual veins going up. And I'll insert a picture of veins so you can really see how the veins affect the length and strength of the reed. There's also spaces between them, okay? With some tools I like to remove some of the cane, not cut it like a knife. I like to just move some of the cane, but keep those ridges and veins strong, okay? And then I'll get into talking about one thing about the Gaia mouthpiece. If you notice, you can see those curves on the inside of that baffle. When you get really sensitive to this mouthpiece and you get sensitive adjusting the tips of your reeds, you can press the velocity of air. You can start to feel a little resistance coming back in those ridges of where you're pressing air. And the experience of playing saxophone just goes way up because it's like, wow, I never knew this before. So anyway, I'll proceed with a video of close up. Hope you hang. And again, any other questions, I'll get to them. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. The ever elusive reed. I'm in the later part of my career as a saxophone player and woodwind doubler, and the reed still fascinates me. I'm always trying to improve on how they function and my comfort and everything about them. And so today I'm just going to talk briefly of what the things I know and that work for me and I want to share with you. I'll go over the stuff that you're probably very familiar with. Is this pretty much this shape that everybody likes to get on the tip of the reed. Okay, these are the wings. Over here they call them the wings. Okay, and then your absolute tippy tip, okay, across there. There's a lot of stuff to work in just on this part. I'm going to keep stuff way up in the tip of the reed, okay? We can talk about the back of the reed at another point, but I want to just really hone in on aspects that most saxophone players kind of miss because they're used to putting sandpaper or something over the whole top of this reed and this whole area. I don't do things like that. I use tools, like little tiny tools like this, and I will etch the finest edge, and round off this edge and make it really flexible. And the difference is amazing for me. And of course, also the altissimo register then. Because as soon as you hit that reed and it responds so quickly, bang, you can feel so confident to go to the upper harmonics. Okay? Now, these sides I like to sculpt. I use a tool that I actually sell to sculpt these sides. I turn it like a shovel and I sculpt and shape this area. It's not flat. I'm shaping it as an arc on both sides. And then I'll do it this way as well. And then I level the tool this way so I can push the cane. Okay? And then I do it. And now I'm flexing the reed all the time. I want to see how it's bending. Is it bending the same over here? This is loose. This isn't. So I'd want to keep massaging the cane. And this is a very sharp blade, but it's not about cutting. It's about moving the cane. Okay? So now, see, this is about, and now I'm going to feel this tip, and that feels good. Now, if you're knife prone, then use a knife. The knife operates differently, though. It's harder to feel the sensitivities. I'm an oboe player, so I have a lot of chops with knives, but even this, it's different. Whereas the other tool, if I'm directly on top of the reed, like this, I can feel it bend better. And I touch all of it. And then I scrape the cane just to remove little dusts of the cane. Now, as I move back, this is getting into different notes. This is all the response area. You want to shape this, arc it. Now, watch. When I go against the grain with the tool, it's going to grab. It's going to stop. Okay, so it's not about how sharp all the time. If I go both, it's not going to move because it's in between those fibers. Okay? And that's where all the strength is. So that's why I'm always I'm negotiating on an angle to just trim the fibers, but keep all this knitted fabric and strength in that tip. But this arc and curve and tip to be extraordinarily thin is a really big comfort for me, because I love the response. I can hear the note before I even sound it with such a responsive reed. And one more thing, I just want to talk about the Gaia mouthpiece. I really like this tenor mouthpiece. But the shape of this baffle and these ridges, without it getting too crazy or scientific for you, it's just fun that as you do this thing of adjusting all these areas of your reed, this mouthpiece with its tip and such balance and refined workmanship, look at it, this is just beautiful. When you work the tip of your reed to match this mouthpiece, you've got a real powerful engine here. And it responds well, and the resistance that you can move air back and forth on these is really fun. And especially if you're a recording musician, that's pretty much all I do. So I have the fun of always having a microphone and recording myself and really listening to myself under the microscope, so I can really hear how I'm moving air in the chamber of that mouthpiece. And it keeps me going, it keeps me having fun.